currently I see 2 upcoming though. Let's go to manage videos, see how many there are in here. Live. Oh, hello. I see a live one. Do you see a live one?
Let me refresh. Yes, there's one live.
Hello. 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 Oh. Delay's really short now. Oh no, the delay's really long. That was a different. Hello. Oh. Delay's really short now. Oh no, the delay's really long. That was a different. Hello. Okay. Hello, people. It took me a while to do, didn't it? I know. If you'll just bear with me a second, I'm going to go over to my YouTube management thing and tell it to delete the 2 additional upcoming streams it's decided to create alongside this one that's actually working. Welcome to the Lorwyn set review. Delete forever, go away. Nothing confusing about this, talking to people and doing something they can't see in the background, is there? No, it's not even slightly confusing. Oh, do you know what I've completely forgotten to do? Normally what I would do is I would go in here and I would find, before I started, I would find the set update notes for Lorwyn, which is what we're doing. We're doing Lorwyn. Release notes 7.5. Welcome to the magical world of Lorwyn and not Spider-Man, which of course is what Magic the Gathering paper is doing at the moment. We all thought we were going to get the Through the Omen Paths, weren't we? Paper's doing all of these Universes Beyond sets. Arena can't get some of the Universes Beyond sets, so they reskinned Spider-Man to go on Arena, and that's what we thought we were going to get in Magic Puzzle Quest. And instead they've delved all the way back in time to 2007, where I looked earlier, and we're getting Lorwyn, which is a bit of an odd set to pick, but until you remember that, the next set in paper is going to be a Lorwyn set. Lorwyn Eclipsed is coming next year, so it makes some kind of sense for us in Puzzle Quest to get a Lorwyn set and then another Lorwyn set. How do I feel about Lorwyn? I've no idea. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. First of all, I thought, well, it's bad, isn't it? It's bad that we're not getting the Through the Omen Path Spider-Man, because we should mirror paper as closely as possible, really, shouldn't we? The more we drift away from paper as a game, the more likely that we're going to become irrelevant, and Wizards will just go, what's the point of even selling these people the license? And you know, maybe the whole thing will just shut down. But then I thought, well, do you know, I don't actually like Universes Beyond. I am one of those content creators that Wizards are trying to blame the failure of Spider-Man on. Go and take their survey. This will be funny. Go and take their survey that they've got up at the website at the moment, and in the bit on the survey that says, name all the content creators who told you that you don't like the Spider-Man set. Yeah, put shteev and see what happens. Let's see if I can become a name at Wizards. Yeah, everyone who's listening to this, which I think is literally just me at the moment because Sarah's just walked out of the room. Sarah's with me as normal. Hello, you.
Hello.
Mwah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't actually like Universes Beyond. So maybe I quite like the fact that we're going to be completely insulated from it here. It looks like in paper they're going to have 4 Universes Beyond sets next year, 3 in-universe Magic ones, and it looks like we, the Puzzle Quest people, are going to probably get 7 or 6 non-Universes Beyond sets. So no Pizza Lands in TMNT for us, you know. No Marvel superheroes. It'll just all be sets from the past of Magic. Let's see if we can persuade them to do Khans of Tarkia. This is what I've decided, because it's a 3-colour set, And they always, whenever they have to do multicolour sets, we always get really powerful cards, don't we? That was what happened in Streets of New Capenna. So let's see if we can get a Khans of Tarkir. Yeah? That's what I want next. So I decided I like Lorwyn. Let's have Lorwyn. And then Lorwyn kind of started to show up. And now I'm thinking, oh, maybe I don't like Lorwyn, you know, because like it's a tribal set. It's very famously a tribal set. And I don't think that's going to translate well to Magic Puzzle Quest. You know? Tribal mechanics are just... When was the last time there was a good tribe in Magic Puzzle Quest? It was zombies, wasn't it, in Innistrad in like 2017, 2016. That was a long time ago, you know? And Webcore, as we know, are terrible at making mechanics. They can make some good cards. We've all got decks at the moment that have got lots of good cards in them, but they're not, you know, they're not tied to mechanics generally. They're cards that they made by accident, much like Octagon used to do. They're not good at, like, you know, going, here's a mechanic and this is going to be our showcase for the set. Normally it's, here's a mechanic, all the cards with it are shit. And now here's the other cards that don't have it that are good in the set. So, yeah, I find myself now apprehensive about Lorwyn, mostly because of the tribal thing. Also, I don't really like the art very much. The art, this has got a funny quality to it. It always looks like children's storybook art. It is from 20 years ago, so I wonder if they just didn't have the same kind of level of quality control, you know, and I've got higher expectations maybe of Magic art, because I've been so enjoying the art from things like fucking Ether Drift and fucking Edge of Eternities. Oh, I was so excited for Edge of Eternities. I thought Edge of Eternities was going to be a great kind of cosmic horror set, you know, with all the Eldrazi coming back from the Blind Eternities, and it's just fucking lasers, guns and space robots, isn't it? It's such a shit theme. I hate it. Do I hate it more than Ether Drift? No, let's steady on, Steve. Let's be sensible about this. Edge of Eternities, was that a good set? No, not really. There wasn't a lot of play in Edge of Eternities, was there? There was Space Time Anomaly, which incidentally, that's the chase card of the set, I think. The chase card of this set is go and craft Space Time Anomaly. I've so far seen nothing I like from Lorwyn, but as you know, I like to, you know, try and mostly avoid spoilers until I'm looking at them live. I'll have seen a few things, but I certainly haven't seen anything I like the look of yet in Lorwyn. So I think the one chase card from the set is basically going to be Space Time Anomaly, which you can craft now from the last set. Excuse me. Shall we just crack on? Let's just crack on a bit. I'm sure I had some more things I wanted to say, but I'm sure it will all just turn up over the course of going through all of the rubbish cards in this set. There's no need to do it all up front, is there? Like, I've definitely noticed, like, over the last couple of set reviews, it gets about halfway through the set, and I'm really running out of things to say on all the really terrible cards. So I'll try and remember to sprinkle in some things, some factoids that I've been thinking about the game and its history and its future and the state of standard and things as I'm going along. But let's just crack on, actually. Let's get into the new mechanics, which, as you know, I think are going to be terrible. Let's see what we've got. Evoke is an evergreen, which works when the respective creature card is exiled from the hand full of mana. When using an Evoke evergreen, all of the cards when this creature enters the battlefield and when this creature leaves the battlefield abilities are triggered. After all effects are resolved, the card is put into a graveyard instead of the exile. So this is god-awful, isn't it? If you look at this and you think to yourself, this is great, because when I've got 3 creatures in play, I can still play this card. Yeah? You need to really look at yourself. Because if you've got 3 creatures in play, then you've won that game, I'm afraid. You don't need to be doing shenanigans with a 4th creature. You've won that. If Greg hasn't blown up all of your creatures, you're attacking all the time with 3 creatures, you've won that game. I look at this, right? I don't see that. I don't think to myself, well, I've got 3 creatures in play. I can play this extra win more card. I look at it and think, this gives me the ability, instead of playing the creature for mana and getting the thing that it does, yeah, I can pay exactly the same amount of mana, do the thing that it does, and just not get the creature. I can just get less stuff. So I kind of hate Evoke. Note this effect doesn't make the creature actually enter the battlefield. Yeah, that's just the thing I was saying, yeah, is that if you've got 3 creatures, you still get to use this. So people seem to think that's some kind of positive. If it turns out that I get to use that on a regular basis, I'll be staggered. Absolutely staggered. Kindred, let's move on to Kindred. God, people like this one as well. Now, I can't believe this. No, wait, I can believe this. We'll get into it. When this player casts a card with the Kindred mechanic, all creatures that share a creature subtype with the Kindred card get +1/+1. Let's just pause there. Obviously, that's shit. +1/+1 is just a stupid, pointless amount of plus to get. It's a permanent. We don't care. And it'll be slow as well. Imagine that. Don't you hate it when you're playing with, and this is a really good card, when you're playing with Kylox's Vault Strider and every time you attack, it has to pump up all your creatures. In fact, doesn't it do it on your opponent's turn as well? No, okay, it doesn't. There's something that does on your opponent's turn as well. Thank God. I don't play with Kylox's Vault Strider a lot. That's why I don't know that. Because I can't be bothered to wait for it to pump up all of my creatures. Yeah, but this, every time we play a goblin, it's going to go zhoo and pump up that. +1/+1. It's not a 2/2 anymore. It's going to be a 3/3 now. Are you excited? And then zhoo, there goes another bit of graphic across the screen. Wow, and the second goblin goes up from a 2/2 to a 3/3. I can't believe anyone's excited about this bit of it. So let's get to the bit I think they probably are excited about. Each card in hand with the creature subtype gains 3 mana. So I think what's happening is the Johnny Combo players are looking at this card and thinking, ooh, I can go infinite with this. Because the card that we've seen with Kindred on it, the card that they spoiled, has a limit on it, yeah? It's got Kindred, and then the card itself says something like this can only trigger a certain number of times a turn. But that trigger limit isn't on the Kindred mechanic itself, it's on the card. Am I right? I think I'm right. So there's obviously no, when we look at this page that I'm looking at here on the screen, there's obviously no trigger limit here. So in theory, if you had a deck that was all goblins, yeah, and you started playing goblins, and each goblin paid for the last goblin, you could go infinite with a goblin deck. Hands up anyone who thinks that's actually going to be possible. Anyone? No, I didn't think so. Did we? Do we think we're going to be able to put 10 goblin cards into a deck, chain them all off each other, and have them do an impressive goblin thing? I don't know. Maybe there will be some Johnny thing. I highly doubt it. Watch out for your friendly neighborhood deck builders. I imagine your other content creators will make some decks and they'll go, oh, look at this. I managed to get a little bit of a chain going off here. I just kind of doubt it, really. I'm unimpressed by Kindred. Clash! Now, I remember people saying they like Evoke. I remember people saying they like Kindred. I don't really remember anyone saying they like Clash. And they were right not to. There's nothing really wrong with Clash. Clash is a keyword that can be applied to any type of card. A Clash will have a requisite to trigger. When it triggers, it reveals the top card of the deck of both players. If the card revealed by the controller of the Clash has a higher mana cost, it's considered they win the Clash and you do a thing. So I play a Goblin with Clash, right? We both look at the top card of our deck, and if my card of the top card that I looked at has a higher cost than your card, it does an extra little thing, like maybe it'll blow up a support or something. So the problem with Clash is just really the animation, which is just the most horrible, intrusive thing I've ever seen, honestly. Is it the most intrusive graphic we've ever had? It really feels like it. I'm not saying it takes longer than you know, spawning 100 tokens. Obviously that takes longer, but it takes a lot longer than spawning 1 token. I can't think of another graphic that's that intrusive. It takes that long. Also requires, you know, an extra click, but you can't just tap on the screen and to get rid of it, because you have to wait until halfway through when the cards have come on the graphic in order to dismiss it. So if you just start immediately tapping the screen, you're tapping it for quite a while. It's kind of horrible. I just hate the graphic. Not as much as Sarah. My God, she really hates the graphic, but I don't blame her. Now I've tried to say, look, you'll be okay, because I reckon all cards with Clash are going to be shit and nobody's going to play them. But I'm not sure really that's a good selling point for the mechanic, is it? That nobody's going to want to play with it. So yeah, I don't know why they made it so. And again, you know, I feel like it must have taken them a little time to code. I'm not saying it's a good graphic. It's a pretty shit graphic. But knowing what my friends at Webcore are like, hello, Webcore. No, I didn't get my spoiler card again. Have you got my correct email? Give me a ring on my mobile. We'll just sort out the spoiler for next time. Knowing my friends at Webcore, it will have taken them ages. It probably took them they probably started when EOE came out. This is probably why we haven't got the EOE PvE event has only just come out. Terra Symbiosis has only just come out. It's probably because it took them so long coding the Clash animation. Anyway, I hate it. It's going to be crap. So there's 3 crap mechanics. I hate them. And of course, there's this whole kind of tribal theme in the set, which I also hate. So I want you to know I'm really going into this set with an open mind, okay? I haven't made my mind up about the set or anything, so you're in safe hands with me. New story mode. Now, we've all had a chance to play the new story mode now, you know. Story mode, what used to happen is, when you started playing the game, there are loads of levels you could play. You could play loads and loads and loads of levels. So when you were new, you had loads of content, yeah? And what Webcore have decided is that what they needed to do was just throw away all of that content, yeah? So there's barely anything to do. Because that's what new players to a game want, isn't it? They go, oh, I'm going to try downloading a new game. I hope there's barely anything to do. Yeah. And of course, it is only for the new player. I don't know if you played story mode, but I mean, certainly the first, 5 levels? He's got like 30 life. He's playing absolute trash. There are only 4 new players, these levels. But honestly, I think they're so easy. Most of these levels are so easy that I think that if you get a new player comes to the game and he finds story mode challenging in 1 week, I think by the time he's got to next week, I think he probably doesn't find them challenging anymore. Maybe the last final level. I think he had 110 life, didn't he? The last final level of story mode. But I don't know. I don't know if any one player is going to find story mode challenging for more than a couple of weeks, certainly. More than 1 week, really. So in theory, I like the fact that they tried to do something different. It looks a bit different on the screen, doesn't it? I like to think it looks a little bit like a map. I really think there should be maps and trails and things in Magic Puzzle Quest, because we always had maps and trails of things in Puzzle Quest Challenge of the Warlord. And that's one reason why I'm playing this game. It's Puzzle Quest Challenge of the Warlord. But it's not really a map, is it? It's just a list of PvE levels like we're used to. But it does look a bit different, and it suggests something a bit new and different. So don't kind of mind the look of it, but just the idea of like throwing away a lot of content that they had that had been designed, you know, and replacing it with content that is only for very new players and that new players will grow out of very quickly. You know, and then on top of that, actually, they've put in these new quests. The quest journal seems to be full of story mode quests at the moment. I think, personally, out of the 5 quests you get every day, it seems to me like one of those is now always about story mode. Now, in the past 4 days, I've had 2 of them that said, win 4 fights in story mode. That's 8 story mode levels. There are only 7 story mode levels. And I'm probably going to get another one of those this week as well. So already the quests are saying to me, replay the levels in story mode. Don't just play them, but replay them. And of course, when story mode came out, I played it on day 1 to see if there were any exploits that I could take advantage of, you know, and there weren't. So now but I won't be doing that in the future, you know, I'll be leaving it for when the story mode quests turn up. And yes, I could re-roll them. That costs 5 crystals now. I've hardly got any crystals. I can't afford 5 crystals. I can. But I'm not going to. The reason why I have a lot of crystals is because I don't throw them away on things. 7.5.0 brings new challenges to the list of quests. Expect to see story mode being mentioned. Yeah, as I say, I'm pretty sure it comes up every single day. I think there's one whole category of story mode, of the quest journal has been put aside for story mode now. Because I've had, on 4 consecutive days, I've had 4 story mode quests. And 2 of them, like I say, were these win 4 levels in story mode. The other 2 were easier. I think it was something like destroy 2 creatures in story mode or something. So that wasn't too bad. But, yeah, I reckon they're going to make us play a lot more story mode than we want to if we want to get the rewards out of the end of it. And it doesn't even have the replay button anymore. Do you remember the old quest system? It would say play 4 levels of story mode or 5 levels of story mode. And you'd be like, well, obviously I don't want to because I've done all of it. But at least I can press the replay button at the bottom of the screen every time I've done a level, and it'll send me straight back into the level, so I only get 1 loading screen instead of 2 loading screens. That was a long sentence. And now they've got rid of that, so we always get the 2 loading screens. So I guess I hate story mode as well. I am a negative Nelly today. New Planeswalkers and a yeah, here we go. I'm going to be negative again about this. I mean, this is shit, isn't it? Does anyone like this? Does anyone like the fact that instead of making a new Garrett Wildspeaker, they retooled the old Garrett Wildspeaker? Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, the old one's got the same name as the one in Lorwyn. But, you know, maybe they could have just changed the name of the old one then, do you know, and left us with the old one. And I'm not even saying the old one's great. I just think the whole idea of overwriting a Planeswalker is a bit poo. I mean, I could be highfalutin and say, oh, it's a very dangerous precedent. I don't really. I mean, they could, yeah, they could. You could wake up. Imagine if you woke up tomorrow and they'd overwritten Grist with Grist 2. You know what I mean? Fuck me, the players would be in open revolt about that. Do you even remember what Grist 2 does? I have no idea what Grist 2 does. I certainly haven't bought Grist 2. There's a Grist 2. Did you know there was a Grist 2? Do you know what Grist 2 does? No, nobody knows what Grist 2 does. But I'm not too bothered about, you know, the precedent of rewriting your play. They nerf Planeswalkers every so often, and I'm glad they do. I always said nerf Grist, he's too good. She's too good, I'm sorry. I just think it's a bit shit that they overwrote one. Because the one we've got in the game as well hasn't even got the right picture. Yeah, the Garrett Wildspeaker that we had is not the image on the card from Lorwyn. It's an image from a reprint of that card. I had to track it down at the time. I'm like, that's not what fucking Garrett Wildspeaker looks like. When I initially saw that Planeswalker back in 2016-17, whenever it was. I had to go and look it up. Because I thought that's not what Garrett Wildspeaker, he's got the mask on and things. So they could have used the art for the Lorwyn one. They could have given us this version of the Lorwyn one. Maybe change the name of the other one. I just don't like it. I shouldn't hate it. There's nothing really to hate here. I just don't like it. Is he good? I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we scroll down the screen, won't we? Now, I am not going to talk about the Lorwyn 5 event. Because that way madness lies. Seriously, like, if I start talking about the Lorwyn 5 event, we could be here all day, because it's so bad. Oh my God, it is the worst thing. The worst event that's ever been in the game, hands down, by just a huge margin. People remember the Planeswalker Arena, maybe, you know? I used to really hate Fables of Eldraine, but that was just a PvE, sorry, with objectives that were too limited. I'm probably on my own hating Fables of Eldraine. What other events have people really hated in the past? I mean, people didn't like the fact that you had to play Avacyn's Madness into late in the night just to make sure that you were still awake when the things changed. All of these negatives on other events pale into insignificance with the Lorwyn 5. I said I wasn't going to talk about it much. I'm not going to pull it apart. Go and have a go at it if you haven't. It's god-awful. You won't believe. And the point of it is to sell you these new Planeswalkers. That's a really unbelievable thing. They think people are going to play this event and go, "Oh, I really want to give the people who designed this £80 British sterling because it's so good." Just the delusion they must have. So I'm not going to talk about the Lorwyn 5 event. But what I will do, let's have a look at, I assume they'll have given us the abilities of the Planeswalkers at level 60. Because, of course, in the Lorwyn 5 event, for no reason that anyone can fathom, all the Planeswalkers you have to play with are level 16. Why would you even care? When you buy a Planeswalker, you're thinking, well, I'm going to level it up. I want to know what it plays like at level 60. No, you're going to find out what it plays like at level 16. So here today, we're going to be looking at these Planeswalkers at level 60. So let's draw a pale over there. Have a look on the forums. EDH Dad has come out of retirement. Well, I say come out of retirement. I just haven't seen him around a lot. But he posted a very kind of detailed takedown of a lot of things that are wrong with the Lorwyn 5. I don't know if he got everything, but he tried. Bless him. You know, that's worth having a look. There's a fun thread on the forum where everyone's just taking apart this terrible event. But I'm not going to talk about the Lorwyn 5. Let us move on to what the Planeswalkers look like at level 60. Let's see what we've got. So we've got 125 life. Mana bonuses. I mean, these are quite good mana bonuses. If we'd have had these mana bonuses, it would have been a little better in the Lorwyn 5 event. I'm not talking about. +6, +3, +3, -3, and a 0. Is that not the same? That to me seems the same as Jace Mirror Mage. In fact, maybe Jace Mirror Mage is a little worse than that. Maybe he's got 2 big -2s or something. Well, Jace Mirror Mage has got a big spike for his blue, and then he's got 2 +3s. I remember because you can play Insidious Will or Prism Array from his white and black mana. But those are decent mana bonuses. Black -3, I mean, that's a bit tight, isn't it? 0 mana. But, you know, you hope not to get that. Passive ability. Now, this has already been... it's already been demonstrated just how terrible it is to have the passive ability trigger when you activate all 3 loyalty abilities. Are these really the costs of the loyalty abilities? I remember them being more expensive. Cost 6, cost 7, cost 14. What's the total of that? 13, 27 loyalty total. I seem to remember in the event. What's that? That's correct in the event, is it? I mean, a lot of them in the event, I remember it adds up to
27 to 30.
No, it doesn't. It's well over 40 in the event. What the hell's going on? Have they changed these numbers? Go have a look at the loyalty costs of the abilities in the event. Because they shouldn't. The thing is, I realise that the planeswalkers in the event are level 16, but they generally don't reduce the cost of loyalty abilities, do they? As they go along. The loyalty abilities usually stay at exactly the same level. Who's got loyalty abilities that get cheaper as they get higher level? No, I can't think of one either. I mean, it's possible, but I really can't think of one. So, I mean, I can't even really speak to whether... Because they do this sometimes, don't they? They print things in the release notes. And they have the wrong costs on them. So I can't really even speak to whether it's actually going to be like this. What's that? Oh, I'm just being handed a...
You have to do the math yourself.
Oh, I can't get the... I'm looking at the Lorwyn event here. I'm being handed this by my helpful elf. I'd have to actually start the game.
No,
to get into it. How do you get the loyalty abilities?
Here they are here.
No. I'm talking about the costs. The costs of this number here.
Yeah, you don't.
No, it doesn't tell you. Oh, you know, it does. Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at the Garrick Wild Speaker in the game. His first costs 11, his second costs 15, his third costs 20. I'm now going to scroll down the page here. Cost 8, cost 12, cost 17. So the numbers here I've got that we are looking at on your screen right now are lower than the ones in the game. It is possible that the cost of the loyalty abilities reduces as they go up levels, though. Even more reason they shouldn't have made them level 16 in this terrible, terrible Lorwyn 5 event. Thank you for that, Sarah. Thank you very much. So let's assume that it's as written here. What have we got? This is a Ajani. Gain 5 life for each creature you control. Activate this only if you control a creature. Okay. Low power. Rubbish. Cost 7. Your creature get +2/+2. If you control a cat creature, your first creature gains vigilance. Yeah. I mean, it looks a lot like... Currently, it's looking a lot like the Ajani you get, from Origins, isn't it? I.e. shite. Roar of the Spark. Creating Ajani's Pride Mate token. It gets +X/+X. X is your current life total divided by 5, rounded down. So that's 14 loyalty. You're going to get a 2/2, and let's say he's going to get +20/+20 for 14. You're going to get a 20/20 creature for 14. Let's say you've had the living shit kicked out of you. You're down to 60 life, 60 HP total. Divided by 5, you're still going to get like a 10/10, 12/12. And of course, an Ajani's Pride Mate token gets bigger, doesn't it? It's whenever you gain life, it gets +1/+1. So it does grow, but not very fast. I mean, that's a reasonably large creature, but for 11... Where on earth did I get 11 from? For 14 loyalty... I'm unexcited. I'm unexcited by this planes. I'm going to be unexcited by all of them. I've played with them all before in the terrible, terrible Lorwyn 5 event. Jace Beleren. Cost 4, draw a card. You may activate loyal ability again this turn. I mean, that's not cheap enough, is it? Like for 6 loyalty, we can draw, with Ral, we can draw a card and put 6 mana in it. And a min or 2, just a couple more mana. We draw a bunch of cards, get a big mana bonus. Obnixilis, you're drawing 2 cards for 3, and -1 life. Not good enough, really. Oh, we skipped over the passive ability. Deeper Intrusion. At the beginning of your turn, if you activated all loyalty abilities at least once, Jesus Christ, each player draws a card. I mean, that's terrible. Terrible passive, pretty bad ability 1, ability 2 reading the place. Maybe it's Reading the place. Maybe he comes from Reading. Maybe that's where Chase Bella had, because that would explain why he's so boring. I'm sorry, the people of Reading there, you didn't deserve that. Each player draws up to 2 cards. Then cards you've drawn this way gain X mana. X is the number of cards in your opponent's hand. I mean, I tried playing this in the event, you know, and it's rubbish. Yeah, I like drawing cards, and I like putting mana in them. It doesn't necessarily put that much mana in them. 6 maximum, probably 2. 2 mana into cards isn't a lot. You're giving away cards as well in order to do it. You're giving away 2 cards. It's giving Greg a bit of gas. And I know you don't put any mana in his cards, but you don't put much mana in your cards, to be perfectly honest, you know. Problem is, if you're losing, you know, that means that he's not got many cards in his hand, probably. You know? So this is worse. Worse when you're losing, and you want things that pull you back when you're losing. Win more then. Bad. Ability 2 bad, don't like. Ability 3, destroy the top 10 cards in your opponent's library, then deal 5 damage to your opponent's planeswalker for each different card in their graveyard. So let's assume for a second that there's 10 different cards in your opponent's graveyard, which there might well be at this point. Destroying 10 cards doesn't guarantee there are going to be 10 different cards. But by the time you get up to 15 loyalty, you know, you've played a bit of gameplay. Maybe he's cast some of his spells. Maybe you've shot some of his creatures. So what we're saying here is that cost 15, deal 50 damage to your opponent and don't do anything else, you know? So you kind of don't kill your opponent. Well, it's going to take 3 of these to kill most opponents, isn't it? That's if you do it on its own. So, I mean, I guess dealing a bit of damage as a finisher, there's room for that. There's certainly like dealing a bit of damage as a finisher in Seize the Day. There's an event, isn't there, where you have to deal, well, you don't have to. You've got to deal, what, 15 damage, I think, to your opponent? But there's a good chance he'll be playing with a support that will prevent some damage. So I used to play Nicol Bolas 2 in there. He deals 30 damage with his ultimate ability, bit of a finisher. But the thing about him is his first 2 abilities, much better than these first 2 abilities. Then I stopped playing Nicol Bolas 2. I started playing Grist. Grist can deal damage with her ultimate, her 3rd ability. And also, doesn't she put a load of insects in play? Yeah, she's just lots better than this. Rubbish, don't like, we move on. What have we got here? Liliana, Demonic Vow. When a non-token creature dies for the first time in your turn, if you used all loyalty abilities, reinforce a random creature you control. Right. Terrible. Knowledge of Souls. Pick one of the first 2 different cards from your library. Move that card to the top of your... I can't get over how terrible this is. This costs like 12 in the terrible Lorwyn 5 event. But like, you know, at least Jace was drawing a card. What this is doing is looking at 2 cards. Yeah? And then there's a 50% chance you're going to want to leave the one that was already there anyway. Back on the top anyway. You know? And if you don't do that, all you get to do is move the other one to the top. You don't get to draw it. You don't get anything else other than that. And that costs 7. It's god-awful. Death Guise, your opponent discards the first card with mana from their hand. Gain mana equal to the number of cards in your opponent's hand. Well, this is better at 8, isn't it? Again, this costs about 12 in the terrible Lorwyn 5 event. You've got no way of generating loyalty in that event. So, you know, you might be building your own deck when you play with Liliana. This looks like it might be something of an ability, this one. They discard the first card with mana from their hand. We definitely like doing that. Gain mana equal to the number of cards in your opponent's hand. That's not many, is it? You know, again, the better they're doing, the less cards they will have in their hand, because they will put them on the table. So I felt, I'd like, in theory, I like this. 8 seems reasonably cheap, but oh no, wait a minute, it's actually quite expensive, really, isn't it? But the first card with mana from their hand, that's the thing that you want to be discarding. The thing, they've been spending a couple of turns building up mana in their Galta, and then you blow it out of their hand and they don't get any from it. That's the dream, isn't it? So I guess it's alright. It's not great though. Rise from the grave. Return the first creature with the greatest mana value up to 20 from your graveyard to the battlefield under your control. Then return all creatures with the same name as creatures you control. Right, so if you've got nothing in play, you hit this, you get a creature from your graveyard. Not a huge one, but pretty big one. You can get a pretty big one. And then it puts all copies of that one creature into play. Yeah? So you pay 20 loyalty. If you got, sorry, no, it's not. It's 20 loyalty in the Terrible Lorwyn 5 event, isn't it? It's only 14 loyalty here on the page. If you've got nothing in play, you get one creature. It's like a Priest of the Blood Rite. There you go. And all the other copies of it come out of the graveyard as well. If you happen to have more creatures in play, if you had already had 3 creatures in play, then all of the copies of all those 3 creatures are going to come out of your graveyard. I mean, so Liliana looks like the best of a bad bunch here at the moment, doesn't she? 14 mana doesn't seem terrible for that. That's definitely 2 win more for me. You know, the fact that you need to already have 3 creatures in play to take full advantage of pulling all the creatures out of your graveyard. Have a bit of a think, okay? Have a bit of a think. See if you can think of a black planeswalker who pulls creatures out of her graveyard who might be a little bit better than Liliana Vess. Just see if you can think of one. I'll give you a clue. She's black-green. But I think that, yeah, so far I think Liliana is better than the other 2. Let's move on to Chandra. Now, Chandras traditionally absolutely suck, don't they? So let's see how we're doing here. Fires a Revolt. At the beginning of your turn, if you activated all loyalty abilities, what's the total of that? 5, 7, 16, 28 loyalty. It's quite a lot, isn't it? If you activated all loyalty abilities this turn, if you deal damage with a loyalty ability, deal that damage plus 5 instead. Ugh. Fiery Answer costs 5, deal 4 damage to any target, then gain 3 mana for each creature that died this turn. Honestly, you'd be fine with that. If you were a brand new player, you'd kind of be fine with that as a first ability, wouldn't you? I mean, admittedly, if you're a brand new player, you probably wouldn't have her at level 60. But you wouldn't really mind that at all, that first ability, if you're a new player. We, of course, realise that the wrong amount of damage to deal to anything, any creature anyway, and pretty much any player, to be honest, is any finite amount of damage. 4 damage just isn't going to cut it, you know. 4 damage and 3 mana, we don't care about if we've been playing this game for longer than a couple of weeks. New players will might look at that and think, yeah, well, that's quite good, that. I could kill a Harbinger of the Tides with that, they might think, and gain 3 mana. But soon enough, they will learn that they can't kill 2 Harbingers of the Tides with that. Ability 2, Flames of Change. Destroy 10 gems of your opponent's Planeswalker colours. Cost 7. Yeah, again, you know. It's not terrible. Actually, I was expecting Chandra to be much worse than this, but she's looking better than some of the other ones, actually. Destroy 10 gems of your opponent's Planeswalker colours for 7. I mean, you can't spam 7, can you? Anyone remember when they changed the ability of the Origins Chandra's first ability to 3, and you could just spam the living shit out of it? Oh my god, that was fun. That was a very long time ago now. That was probably, yeah, the original 2016, 2017 days of it. But all of a sudden, she was just absolutely ruling Quick Battle. Yeah, at 7 loyalty, you can't really spam this Flames of Change. You know, you might get a cascade off it You probably get a cascade of it. You might not get a cascade off it. What does Koth look like? That kind of looks like Koths, doesn't it? Destroy 10 gems of your opponent's Planeswalker's colours. Somebody, it's so long since I've played Koth. Somebody remind me what Koth looks like. When I say somebody, of course, I mean Sarah here. Thank you very much. My background task. Ability 3, Cleansing Inferno. Deal 10 damage to all creatures. Well, that's terrible. 10 damage. No, thank you. Deal damage equal to the excess damage. Right, let's see what Koth's first does. Koth's, it's pretty comparable, actually. Koth's first ability, Koth of the Hammer, costs 6 loyalty and says destroy 12 non-red gems. Yeah, and this one costs 7, destroy 10 gems of your opponent's Planeswalker colours. Now, the immediate difference I can see between this is they're going to be pretty similar the first time you set them off. Koth is a little more efficient and better. But then maybe the second and third time you're going to set off Chandra's one here on the screen that you can see rather than Koth that you can't. Maybe there won't even be 10 gems of your opponent's Planeswalkers to colours to destroy. But they seem quite comparable. Like I say, Koth is a little bit more efficient. The question you want to ask yourself, though, is, do you play Koth a lot? Because I don't. You know, Koth can be very explosive, and every time when Greg's playing Koth, it always seems like every time he uses first ability, he gets an enormous cascade and sets himself up for all of his other loyalty abilities. But somehow, whenever you use him yourself, he always seems to run out of steam a bit more often, doesn't he? You know. So yeah, comparable to Koth's, but let's not pretend that Koth is one of the great Planeswalkers in this game. Back to ability 3. 10 damage to all creatures. Finite damage, again. Deal damage equal to the excess damage to your opponent's Planeswalker. Like I say, if you were new at this game, you would look at these abilities at level 60, admittedly, and you would think, this looks like a pretty good Planeswalker. You know? But unfortunately, we, the players who are likely to spend £80 on this big bundle of Planeswalkers, new players aren't going to spend £80 straight away, are they? I mean, some of them might. Though, of course, they're always on the lookout for whales who might. But it's more likely that more experienced players are going to do it. And they're going to know that dealing 4 damage to any target and 10 damage to all creatures just isn't enough. Damage equal to the excess. Blah. Yeah, don't like. And here is the new Garruk Wildspeaker, who, if you had the old Garruk Wildspeaker, you already have. And you should be being sent, if you haven't been already, his new base deck in your inbox, for which you will get a free doubling season from Foundations if you didn't have it already, because it's in his new base deck, Garruk. Let's see what we've got. 130 life is a lot, isn't it? We like that. You know, we're getting some power creep in life totals. There seem to be more and more Planeswalkers with huge amounts of life every day, but it's 130 life. I'm still going to say is a lot. We haven't even looked at the mana bonuses for everyone, have we? There you go. Look at the mana bonuses. Look at the mana bonuses. Look at the mana bonuses. There you go. Now we've looked at the mana bonuses. Garruks are a bit shit, that's all I'm saying there. But they're probably, honestly, those mana bonuses are probably very similar to what he used to have in the first place. They look similar to what the old version of Garruk used to have. Passive ability at the beginning of your turn, if used on your green mana bonus is increased by 3. Is that all? Cost 8, cost 12, cost 17, that's 29, that's 37 loyalty you're going to have spent playing all 3 abilities to get +3 on your green mana bonus. Anyone excited? No. Monstrous Mass, convert 2 gems to green. That is a shit amount. Then gain life equal to the number of green gems on the board. That is a terrible, terrible first ability. As anyone who will have used it in the terrible, terrible Lorwyn 5 event can attest to. You know, converting 2 gems to green and desperately hoping that that's going to create a lot of loyalty when it in fact creates 0 loyalty. Jungle Law, create a beast token, then reinforce it 3 times. Now this to me looks a lot like Garruk Unleashed. I want to say Garruk Unleashed. His second ability costs 9. You give someone leader, you create 3 beasts. You end up with a beefy creature anyway. I used to use Garruk Unleashed a lot for card mastery, because you could just play one. As long as you got one large creature out in position 1, you use his second ability for 9 loyalty, you basically reinforce it 3 times. So what we're doing here is we're paying 12 loyalty, we're getting a 3 beasts, 12/12 token for 12 loyalty. I mean, that sounds kind of okay, doesn't it? But it's still there. If you're interested, don't use Garruk Unleash for mastery. If you want to master green cards or red cards or black cards, Lord Windgrace. Oh, I couldn't do anything else now. I hate it when I have to master white and blue cards now, because Lord Windgrace is just so good at mastery. You use his second ability. He's so good at loyalty. You can literally master 10 unplayable cards with Lord Windgrace. He's so wonderful. I'm only talking in Fateful Showdown. I'm not talking about in Trial of the Plains. Don't try playing 10 unplayable cards in Trial of the Plains and just seeing if you can win that. Actually, no, do, and let me know how it went. That'll be funny. So that's quite a large token, which you might care about if you're mastering cards. But don't master cards with him. Do it with Lord Windgrace. Hunt and destroy. Your first creature fights the first opposing creature. So it might die, and it might, for 17 loyalty, their first creature might die, but it might not. And it also damages your creature. And you have to have a creature in play. Basically, you have to be winning already in order for that not to fuck you up the arse. The first opposing creature. Then, if your opponent doesn't control a creature card, right, so that might either be because you killed his creature, or maybe he just doesn't have a creature. Oh no, but I mean, maybe that's not true. Maybe if he doesn't have a creature, maybe you can't use that ability. I don't know. Your creatures get +10/+10 and gain trample. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, does anyone want to spend... Oh, this one isn't in the bundle. Does anyone want to spend £80 or regional equivalent buying these 4 planeswalkers? All I can say is don't. If you need me to. I'm sure you didn't need me to do that. Yeah, unexciting. And the main problem we've got is they're all monos, aren't they? I mean, you know, and they were kind of stuck there because... you know, they were very iconic, the Lorwyn 5 in Lorwyn. Yes, that's the set that they were in, the Lorwyn 5. So they're kind of stuck making monos, but we all just kind of hate monos. They could have made some really good monos. They could have done that rather than terrible ones. But let's just hope we get some non-mono planeswalkers in there, because nobody likes playing monos. Does anyone ever play monos in Coalition events? Yeah, some people play Pajami, I suppose. Good luck to you. I don't like Pajami because when you play Golden Wish with Pajami, it doesn't do anything. When you do it with Dak, and when you do that with Pajami, it does basically nothing. So, yeah, I don't like Pajami. Shall we finally move on? I'm not talking about the Lorwyn 5. You're not going to learn my thoughts of the Lorwyn 5. Terra Symbiosis, I haven't played yet. It's in the game. I can't imagine it's going to be anything more than just another PvE. You know, which most people, I'm sure, will review purely based on what the prizes are. You know what I mean? If the prizes are high, they'll say, yes, there is good design in this event. And if the prizes are low, they will say, no, there is bad design in this event. Because that's what design is making numbers higher or lower for things at the top of your screen that you buy things with. Daily rewards have been adjusted. This is interesting, isn't it? Because they got rid of this. They noticed that a lot of players weren't getting all of the rewards. And so they thought, well, we'll cut the reward calendar down to 21 days. And then nobody liked that. And they didn't change it back. They said, no, we had to do that. And now they've changed it back again. I kind of feel that this is exactly what's going to happen to story mode, yeah? They cut all of story mode out. They said, oh, nobody played all of story mode. We didn't need all of that. So be on the lookout in a few months' time for all of story mode just coming back again. That's all I've got to say about that, I think. We've got some fixes, which we don't care about. Oh, no, look, Eyes Everywhere has been fixed. That's a shame, isn't it? And let's crack on with some cards. Should we crack on with some cards? I am negative. What's that? Oh, I was going to do the Elite Pack. Yeah, what time is it? Yes, it is. I've spent an hour yarning on about all of that. And what I want to do is I want to go through the Elite Pack because it's just possible that there might be a card that I might want to buy and play with this weekend. Plus, it's kind of less depressing going through the Elite Packs. It's probably a bad idea because I'm concentrating all the good cards in one place, which means when I come to actually do the meat of the cards, which will probably start in part 2 of this review, which will probably be Monday, Tuesday, maybe? Who knows? Monday, Tuesday. There will be less of these mythics, but yeah, I'm going to do it anyway, because like I say, I want to see what's in the Elite Pack, just in case I want to buy something. So we're going to kick off by cheating and looking at a whole bunch of mythics. Yes, I do have too many boosters. Thank you for asking. So let's head into the Lorwyn Elite Pack. Obviously not going to do the rares, because we'll be here all day. Now, what have we got here? We've got 12 cards in the pack. That's the first thing to notice. You know, that's fairly standard these days. It is kind of harder to get hold of the cards you want from Elite Packs at the moment. Because, you know, for a while the Elite Packs were really tiny. Yeah, I always remember around about Streets of New Capenna, you know. One with Phyrexia All Will Be One. You know, the Elite Packs got really tiny for a while there, and there would only be like 7 or 8 cards in them. But now, not only have we, you know, we've gone back to like, you know, going onto the second page as standard in the Elite Packs, we have only got 2 months between sets as well now, rather than 3 months. So it is getting a little harder to target an Elite Pack and get what you want out of it. I mean, it's certainly get harder to get what you want out of all 3 Elite Packs. But luckily, they tend to not print a good card in all 3 Elite Packs. So pick one, target it, get the thing you want out of that one, really. And failing that, get some more jewels by playing Trial of the Plains. I've been playing Trial of the Plains a lot recently. Build up my big pile of jewels. And Battle from the Ages. The second thing we noticed from this booster, and I fucking hate this change, is they no longer print all of the masterpieces at the top of the booster. Do you notice that? Changing Titan is a masterpiece. Thoughtweft Trio is mythic, but then we go down to Horde of Notions. That's a masterpiece. I really hate it. It's a really minor change in the grand scheme of things. But for some reason, it just really rubs me up the wrong way. I hate not being able to just go into an Elite Pack and see how many masterpieces there are straight up. I just don't like it. I mean, you can, of course, change the filter, presumably. Mana cost. Oh, no, maybe you can't. There's no rarity one. Look. Mana cost, card name, power and toughness. I mean, presumably it's because they've rationalised it. So, because obviously on this screen there's no rarities. Well, there's no sorting order for rarity. There's these rarities here. But there's no sorting order for rarity. So they thought, oh, we'll rationalise that and have it in the sorting order that it actually comes up down the side here. But I don't like it. So you can't even change it back. That's what I'm saying, is that you can't change it back to the old system, because there is no sort order for rarity in there. Anyway, I hate it, but it's a fairly minor thing. So we're going to go through these 12 cards and see what we can find. Changing Titan. So they're in order of mana cost going down now. So this guy is very expensive. 22 for a 7/7 leader. Shapeshifter, Elemental, Elf, Kithkin, Treefolk. When this creature is reinforced, this creature gets +1/+1 and a random basic evergreen ability it doesn't have. 22 is a lot, isn't it? I'd be looking at this guy more than anything else for Planar Chaos. Planar Chaos has a lot of opponents with well over 200 life. And you need some kind of strategy that involves for getting very big things in play. A strategy that you might not play in a coalition event. I'm quite happy when I play a coalition event to rely on Dakon's ultimate and just do 30 damage a turn. I don't want to deal 400 damage to a planeswalker at 30 damage a pop. I want to get 100 token into play somehow. So Changing Titan strikes me as the kind of thing that you would play in that event. I'm not too interested playing it outside that event. Maybe no one else is either. Maybe like the Johnny Combo players who just like to play very big things. Maybe they're happy to play just those big things in Planar Chaos. Maybe this will bring me and the Johnny Combo players together. That'd be a nice thought, wouldn't it? The Spikes and the Johnnies living together in perfect harmony, laughing at the Timmies and the Tammies. So we're not really interested about the fact that he gets +1/+1. What we're really interested in fact, I think we kind of hate the +1/+1, don't we? Because it's probably going to slow, the animations on that are going to slow down. So if you were to play this and then play like, what is it? Tyvar Kel puts like 9 elf tokens into play. Yeah? It's going to be slow enough watching this reinforced 9 times. But every time that happens, you're going to have to watch it get +1/+1 and a new basic evergreen. I mean, the evergreens are a thing. You know, it might gain a blocking ability that'll save you a potion. Anyone excited by that? No, not really. It might gain lifelink that'll save you a potion. It might gain double strike that'll save you a turn attacking. I don't think we care about the basic evergreens. Mostly we just care that this guy, you know, every time you put one of these 5 types of tokens into play, at least 4 of which seem like they're going to be very uncommon. No, okay, that's not true. Shapeshifter, Kithkin, and Treefolk seem like they're going to be very uncommon type of tokens to put out, aren't they? There are a bunch of elemental tokens around the place, usually in red though, which will be a bit of a problem, but that's okay. There are red-green planeswalkers. And then elves, there are definitely elf tokens around. So I'm envisaging this guy getting really large off the tokens and then being a bit annoyed about the fact that the animations are a bit slow, to be perfectly honest, because of the other sentence on the card. So not chasey. I think the Johnnies will like it, and do you know what? I will probably play it. I will master it at least in Planar Chaos. That was a very nice review of that card from me, wasn't it? This is not a Shteev card at all. You all expected me to say high shit tier, weren't you? I mean, it is a bit high shit. It's better than high shit tier. Not much better than high shit tier. But that's the thing. It's a specific. I can look at a card like this now and think Planar Chaos rather than it goes in the bin. Because I'm sure as shit not playing this at a coalition event. Thought Weft Trio. What have we got here? Leader again. Leader Kithkin. Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen the Kithkins yet. But I'm already a lot less than a fifth excited. This one might have 5 different types of tokens, but we know that one of them is going to be really... Elf tokens we know are going to be decent because they're going to be around. Maybe, perhaps. But Kithkin, they're going to have to specifically be good Kithkin tokens in this set because I don't think there are Kithkin outside of this set. There are in Paper Magic, you know, there's some in Alpha. Aren't there? Yeah, Amru Kithkin, there you go, in Legends. Quentin Hoover artwork. Rest in peace, didn't he die? I think Quentin Hoover died. I used to like Quentin Hoover art. But yeah, I think in this game, I think we're going to have something from this set that creates Kithkin. What are we getting? We're getting 5/5 first strike vigilance. So it might block and kill something for 19 mana. It might grow. But it's not going to die if it doesn't block, because it's got vigilance, so things will just walk right through it. I mean, this looks very high shit tier to me, to be perfectly honest. You know? Yes, there's the possibility that you do exactly the same thing as this that I said you could do with this. And maybe some people will be forced into doing that just because they don't get this card. But if you are playing this to put an enormous creature into play, you're all, always wish that you had this one instead, aren't you? Probably. And it's just because the Kithkin are so narrow. It's so expensive. High shit tier. Bridget, Hero of Kilnsbale. I'm not sure if I like the fact that Kithkin have got such flat heads. I'm really not sure if I like that fact. Activate 2 white. Oh my god. What have we got? So we've got First Strike, Vigilance, 2/3 for 15. Activate 2 white. Deal 3 damage to each opposing creature. I mean, this doesn't even get to high shit tier, does it? Just god awful, that one. This is the elite pack as well, remember. Brian Stoutarn, 15 mana for a 4/4 lifelinker. That's a bit too expensive for a 4/4 lifelinker, isn't it? 9, 8 mana we would have paid. Even back in the day, we'd have been expecting to pay half that for that kind of lifelinker. What have we got here? Activate 3 red. You may destroy another target creature you control. Obviously, he's lobbing another creature through the air. That's the theme of Brian Stoutarn. In paper, I believe he's a 4/4 for 4 mana, which is pretty decent in paper. But 4/4 for 15 is not really a translation, is it, across to our game? So you're destroying another creature you control. If you do, deal 10 damage to any opposing target and gain 10 life, then reinforce this creature. Yeah, I don't like it. Nope. Horde of Nations, at the beginning of your turn, return the first elemental creature. It is an elemental. It will fetch other copies of itself from your graveyard to play under your control. So it will fetch more copies of itself. It will also fetch other elementals. See, 15 mana 7/7. That's better than a 15 mana 2/3, isn't it? It's a lot better. We actually start to think about things at 7/7, whereas 2/3, we're like, no, we can't ever conceive of that killing another player on its own. That creature gains vigilance, trample, and haste. So I guess it's like a build around. It's like a bad build around. I hope some people have fun with it, but no, we're looking for more something like this. Really, I think, for putting large creatures into play. This thing's like it's going to get larger for playing Planar Chaos faster. Mostly because you won't have to find the time to dump things into your graveyard. What could you dump this into your graveyard with? Most obviously Space-Time Anomaly. But then you're getting a 7/7 every turn. But only if you have one in play already. It doesn't pop out, does it? If you just cast a Space-Time Anomaly, they all just stay in the graveyard. You need to have one in there to start them popping out. And they only pop out at 1 a turn. And it's high shit tier. I might have to call it high shit tier. I think I better call it high shit tier, to be perfectly honest. Not good enough to trouble the scorer, really. Sower of Temptation. Oh, I remember this one in paper. Oh, actually, I remember this one in paper. And also, I've noticed this one. This one's got a really weird implementation. So we've got a 14 mana 2/2. So obviously, its power and toughness is not what we give a shit about when we play this card. When this creature enters the battlefield, if you control 2 or less creatures, gain control of target creature. So we've got a few creature stealing things at the moment. There's one in Ether Drift. I'm sure there's at least another one. The thing I kind of don't like about this one is that it is a creature itself, and then you've got to have 2 or less creatures. So you play it, yeah, you can steal 1 creature, and you play it again, you can steal a second creature, and then it kind of gives up stealing creatures. Is that enough? Maybe. I'd rather be playing Confiscate. Wouldn't you rather be playing Confiscate? So that's the first sentence. When it enters the battlefield, if you control, gain control of target opposing creature. And then when it dies, then it also gains control of an opposing creature. This is not a target one. This is the first opposing creature with the greatest base cost. This is just a really weird implementation of this card. Because what it does in paper is, right, when you put it into play, it steals a creature from your opponent. And when it dies, you give the creature back. So it's just like a control magic. It's just like an enchantment that while it's in play, you get the thing, and then you lose it, you lose the thing. Yeah? So this is kind of similar to that, only completely different. And that's just, it's a really baffling choice. It's almost like they read the card and just didn't understand it, isn't it? But maybe that's not the case. Maybe that's being a bit mean to Webcore. Maybe they just thought, well, this card needs beefing up, so we'll beef it up. It just seems weird to me. Do I think it's good? No. I think that might be all I've got to say about that. I mean, it's fine, isn't it? You know, it's got to be at least, stealing an opponent's creature's got to be at least high shit tier. I don't think it gets much better than that, though. Like I say, go and get Confiscate. I think people who steal creatures have got better ways of stealing creatures at the moment. That's what I think. There's a lot of ways of like getting hold of your opponent's cards. I like Marvo. That's my favourite way of getting hold of your opponent's cards. And he just doesn't steal creatures. He gets all kinds of stuff. Every so often Marvo goes, here you go, Steve. Here's a Galter full of mana. I like it when he does that. But he steals all kinds of things. Spells, supports. He'll just get a bit of everything in. And then this is not the best. Stealing a thing from your opponent card. We have in Standard. By any stretch of the imagination. What have we got here? Spinerock Knoll. It's a land. That costs 12 mana. Of course it costs 12 mana. They make lands too expensive. I don't know why they make lands too expensive. We're going to find later on in the set that they're perfectly capable of making things that look a bit like lands and not making them too expensive. So why are they making lands too expensive? Lands should cost you about one turn's worth of mana. Odd colour mana, that's fine. So like 6, 7, 8 mana. Yeah? Not 12. You don't want to be paying 12. You certainly don't want to be paying 15 for a land. The idea of a land is you start the game by playing the land. Yeah? You don't want to be paying a lot for it because it might get hit by a demolish for 3 mana. You don't want to be paying 15 mana, have something killed that costs 3 mana. Yeah? Now that doesn't happen a lot these days, but think about this. You don't want to be paying 15 mana for a land, and then have your opponent play 15 mana for a Rakdos, and then that kills that land, and then every other land you bloody well play after it as well. You know? The land that you play needs to be nice and cheap, so you don't feel like you're out of pocket so it gets blown up. And so you can, as soon as possible, you can get into the process of generating even more resources. So you can have fun playing the cards that you put in your deck. That's why lands need to be cheap, in my opinion. And stop printing cards like Desert that just destroy them as well. Oh my God, I hate Desert. I'm so happy when it rotates out. Do I play it every single week in every Coalition event? Yes, I do. I have no shame. At the beginning of your turn, convert 3 gems to red. Now 3 is fine, isn't it? It would be fine if this land cost 7 mana. It's still okay at 12 mana, but not very good. It's not good enough for me to say that's going into a Coalition deck. It's good enough for me to say I'm putting that into my Silver Jewel deck, yeah. But you see the problem? You see the problem with that sentence? Yeah, I'll put it in master. I don't even like to play lands this good. Convert 3 gems for 12 mana in mastery decks. Seems like a waste, doesn't it? But it's going nowhere near a coalition event. Convert 3 gems to red. When a source you control deals 10 or more damage, move the first card with hidden from your exile to your hand. Now, I'd completely forgotten we'd already had hidden in Streets of New Capenna. And is that where it's from? Pretty sure it's Streets of New Capenna. Because it originally, I remember, I was playing Paper when this set came out, and I remember that hidden was premiered in this set. Or was it called Hideaway, actually? I think it might have been called Hideaway. So, and I don't mind them reusing hidden. Oh, no, it is called Hideaway. Right, okay, so the mechanic is called Hideaway, but the card that you tag gets the tag hidden. Got it. So maybe in Paper it's got a different name, maybe it's the same mechanic. I don't know. I don't really mind it coming back. There's just kind of a bit of a problem here, isn't there? That, when a source you control deals 10 or more damage, move the first card with hidden from your exile to your hand. That card gains full mana. I mean, we're still existing in a standard space where so many cards, mana filler givers we call them, give you a card every turn full of mana. Yeah, like Cruel Claw, like Dragonhawk, like Key to the Vault, like Loot, like, what's it called? Villainous Wealth. So many things just give you a card every turn. You don't have to do something. You don't have to do the thing here, the hidden trigger here. A source you control deals 10 damage. Now those cards are too good, and I noticed they're all rotating out of standard at the next rotation, which isn't going to happen for a year or so. But, until then, we've just got a card that looks rubbish, don't we? Is this card going to look good to me in a year's time? I mean, I don't like to play that game. It's a bit of madness, but I think probably not. I think it's a little too difficult. I don't want that. I want the land that costs 7 and converts 3 gems. I don't want the land that costs more than 7 and then also has an extra bit stapled on it that justifies the fact that it costs more. I guess it's not too terrible. You're getting a land, you're getting a conversion for 3, yeah, and you're eventually getting a card full of mana. We like getting cards full of mana. But it's not. I'm still going to be playing with Swarmyard because I want to just zap it into play for a single match and have it doing its thing. Clue lands, single match, have them start doing their thing. The weird thing, it's so weird that they made clue lands, isn't it? They made those lands in Murders of Karloff Manor. They cost 7, they convert 4 gems, and you draw a card when they come into play. And they won't make anything like as powerful as those again. As we probably know, I think those lands are too powerful. But let me give you an example of a card that is much, much less powerful, right, than one of those clue lands that costs 7, that converts 4 gems, that draws an extra card when it comes off the investigate mechanic. Here it is. It costs 7, it converts 4 gems, full stop. That is a lot less powerful than those Murders of Karloff Manor cards, yeah? So you can afford to print those. That would be fine. In this standard, we're still going to be chasing those better cards. If that's what you want, Webcore, you want us to be chasing a small number of really good cards, we're always going to still be chasing those cards. Because the ones that I said, they don't replace themselves with a card. They don't draw an extra card to replace themselves. They're a lot worse. Some people might have to play with them, but they're always going to be wanting those better cards. But why do you have to keep knocking the value of lands up to, 12 is at least less than the 15 we were routinely seeing in Edge of Eternities? It's okay. It's okay, this land, but I want to see lands being lands. Shall we go on to this one? Because this is exactly the same. Here we go. 12. Convert 3 gems to white at the beginning of your turn. Now, this one is much worse, isn't it? Because dealing 10 damage, that's still pretty bad. But that's more achievable than attacking with your 3rd creature. Again, I really think that when you've got 3 creatures in play and Greg isn't blowing them up, you've just won that game. Now, I'll grant you, my coalition deck, a lot of the time, my 3 creatures are Marvo, yeah, Overlord of the Flood Pits, and Swarmyard tokens. Those are the 3 creatures that I have in play. And this is the deck that I've been playing in coalition events all year. And probably a bit before that. I can't remember, you know. And yeah, you're right. You probably notice those creatures are all very small. And they're not attacking for a lot of points of damage. So maybe you're saying to yourself, well, you're not actually winning that game, Steve, are you? Yeah, you're not. If you're only dealing 6 damage on a turn to Greg with those 3 creatures, and then 7 damage for the extra Swarmyard token on the next turn, and then 8 damage. But I am kind of winning that game, aren't I? Because I've got a Marvo attacking who's giving me cards and mana, and I've got an Overlord of the Flood Pit attacking who's giving me cards and mana, and I've got a Swarmyard in play that's giving me mana every turn. I am kind of winning that game, I'm afraid. So this one, I think, is a lot worse than this one. I mean, not if you're playing unimportant games, if you're playing midweek games, I mean, fair enough. You kind of don't mind win more cards in Planar Chaos. Do you? You know? Because you have to win more in order to deal 400 damage to things. But, yeah, the cards that we're interested in here today are spikes. We're looking for the cards that are going to be good in coalition events. And this is going to cut it even less than this. Let's go back to Twinning Glass, which was in the middle of those. 12 mana. When you cast a card, if it has the same type as the first card in your hand, the support gains 1 shield. Oh, right. It doesn't do anything straight away. Holy shit, this is bad, isn't it? Hands up anyone who was thinking it was going to do something every time you did that. Maybe, like if I played a creature, yeah, and then the next card in my hand was a creature, it was going to go, pow, have a card full of mana. This is a masterpiece. That's kind of what I was expecting. No, what it does is if you do that thing, I'm not saying it's hard to do, but you have to do that to get the shield of this card up to 8 before it does anything. And then it starts to give you a card full of mana. That just seems way too slow, doesn't it? Again, you know, we're looking at the mana filler givers like Key to the Vault and Loot and things like that. You know, they're all going to be rotating out of standard in a year. This one's going to be staying in standard. But having to play 4 cards, and you've got that hand management is not nothing, that every time you play that card in order to increase the shield of this thing. Yeah. You've got to match those types. You've got to get the shield of this up to 8. The shield of this might be being busted down by, like, good conversion cards. Who knows? Maybe they will make some lands that are better than this that we can play. There certainly are some at the moment, aren't there? So it's not like you only have to do this 4 times to get this thing's shield up to 8. It might start getting busted down. I mean, at least when you get it up to 8, it does it once a turn, does it? Doesn't it? Yeah? When it gets up to 8, at the end of turn, if the shield is 8 or more, move the first card with hidden emblem. Oh my god, no, I'm mistaken. Because you only hide 1 card. Oh, Sarah's been lying here on the sofa this whole time, waiting for me to realise just how awful it is. I'm like, no, after you've done all that work, you get a card every turn. No, you fucking don't. You get 1 fucking card. Oh my god. There's me going, oh, if you have to wait 4 turns, if you have to play 4 cards, until it becomes a mana filler giver. But then it starts giving you a card every turn. Then I still don't like it. And it turns out it only ever gives you one fucking card. What a piece of shit. Actually, Steve. Yes, what is it? What is it, Nigel? What do you want? Actually, Steve. Oh, look at me. I'm doing characters. I feel like Kenny Everett. Actually, Steve, if something else, if a different card puts a hidden card into your exile, then this will pull that out as well. So maybe you get... Fuck off, Nigel. Nobody's interested. Profane command. Now, these bug me. These commands really bug me. Madren, oh captain, my captain, leader of Goblin Pile, I believe said, you know, he thought the implementation of these was quite good. Or maybe it was Matthew. It was some traitor from Goblin Pile saying that he thinks that the implementation of these cards are good. I really object to the fact that they've not done them like they have in paper. Do you know what I mean? All the commands in paper, they're all really good cards. They're all kind of iconic cards. And they give you 4 different options to pick, and you pick 2 of them. Yeah? That would have been so easy to do in Magic Puzzle Quest, but no, as always, they went, how can we not do any more work and just cram this into an existing structure that we already had? And instead we've got option A and option B. Now this doesn't make the cards bad. I just think that they could have made them like they did in paper. They really could. Given us a bit of, you know, choicey. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. That's the turn of phrase I'm going to use there. Give it a bit of choice with them, but instead we just get option A, option B. That offends me on an aesthetic level. But let's review the card as it's written. So here we go. 11 mana. Option A. So 11. What 11 mana means on a masterpiece is that somebody else can annoy you with it in Colours of Magic. That's what 11 mana means on a masterpiece. Option A, your opponent loses 12 life. Okay, that's basically nothing. Return the first creature that costs 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That seems like a pretty poor option. There's always the possibility that, you know, that allows you to laser target one specific card you want coming out of your graveyard. But generally you want something bigger than something that costs 10, don't you? Again, if the Johnnies can think of something to do with this, if they're all shouting at me now, here's the specific 10 or less cost card that we get out with this, and that's how we go mental with this card, then fair enough. But, you know, I don't like option A. Let's see what option B does. Your first opposing creature gets -10/-10. I mean, it's got the decency to be permanent. I know, almost like that. Almost like the fact that it's permanent. But, you know, that buys you a lot of time against one Galter. One Galter's a 15/15. And you bust it down to a 5/5. It buys you a lot of time, doesn't it? Only thing is that one Galter has put another bunch of cards into play, among which might have been another Galter. And then all of a sudden it's a clock again, isn't it? Creatures you control gain menace until end of turn. I think this is really bad. I mean, I guess I've got to put it in high shit tier. Can I put it in low high shit tier? Does this go into high mid shit tier? I think it's really... No, it's better than that, isn't it? It's better than mid shit tier. And it does a decent job of killing. -10/-10 is like it's a mastery level removal card, isn't it? It's not a coalition event removal card. So it definitely gets to be in high shit tier. But I think it's a bad card. Ugh. Scion of Una. Right, okay, so this is the nightmare scenario for me. When I heard we were going to Lorwyn, this is the kind of card that I was imagining that we're going to get. Yeah? Tribal. Yeah? Loads of creatures in play. In this case, fairies. Putting loads of fairies in play. In paper, of course, you know, you put 4 1/1 fairy tokens into play and you attack with them. you've got a 5-turn clock there. They're all in the air. It's harder to block them. Here in this game, we've got 130 life. Garrick's got 130 life, doesn't he? Most people are 120 life. Ral Zarek 102 life. We've got more than 100 life. This is a 1-1. This is a 10 mana 1-1. While this creature is on the battlefield, your fairy creatures get +1/+1. So instead of saying having this, that's a 1-1, and another 1-1 fairy token, yeah? And then maybe a 4/4 fairy token, who knows? Yeah? They all get +1/+1. When this creature is reinforced, there's more! When this creature reinforced, your fairy creatures get +1/+1. It's so irrelevant, isn't it? The amount that this whole card, that is 1/10 of the cards in your deck, pumps up all of your fairy creatures, because you're playing tribal. It's not even, you can't go to yourself, well, I'm going to play this and these are the 2 good creatures. No, you can't do that. I'm going to play this and it's going to pump up my Dragonhawk. No, you can't do it. Have to be 2 other fairies specifically, and this card that is 1/10 of the cards in your deck pumps up all of your other fairy creatures an utterly irrelevant amount. It's got a bit of hexproof. I really doubt that's going to be anything. Maybe there's a fairy that says, well, if it sits in play for a whole turn, then you immediately win the game. And you might want to give that thing hexproof. And if you play against an opponent who can't destroy anything without targeting them, which, you know, we can all destroy things without targeting them these days. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say hexproof is nothing as well. This is what I'm worried about. Everything that I'm worried about Lorwyn and how bad the cards are going is represented by this card. So I think we're going to see at least a dozen copies of this card throughout the set, doing slightly different versions of not pumping your creatures up enough. It's so bad. Obviously, I can't put it in low shit tier, can I? Yeah, maybe I can. This can be in low shit tier. It's so bad. Don't like. Ashling the Pilgrim. It's Ashling B, everybody. Creature, when you activate a loyalty ability, this creature gets +2/+2. Is that good enough? No, it's not good enough, is it? Is it going to include Vanguard abilities? Maybe it includes Vanguard abilities. I kind of doubt it. I don't think Vanguard abilities count as loyalty abilities, do they? I've no idea. Maybe they do, and maybe you can put a because of course you can play a Vanguard every turn. Your own loyalty abilities for your own Planeswalker that you are. Sometimes you can't use one of those every turn. So, I mean, that's what you've got to look at when you see this card. Would I like this card if it was a 1/1 that said, every turn this card gets +2/+2? And the answer is no. If it said, every turn this card gets +4/+4, do you like this card? The answer is still pretty much no, although, you know, it's firmly into high shit tier. +4/+4 every turn. But it only does that if you've got Vanguards in play, and if it actually pumps off Vanguards, which I don't know. When you activate your 3rd loyalty ability, deal 10 damage to each creature and each Planeswalker. Yeah, this is the thing. So, like I say, 5/5 +4/+4 every turn. We'd have said that's high shit tier. 5/5 +2/+2 every turn. That's struggling to get into high shit tier, isn't it? I mean, it's certainly mid shit tier. Every single turn. But this doesn't even do that every single turn, does it? You're not really guaranteed to use a loyalty ability every single turn, are you? It doesn't, wherever it goes, it doesn't get out of shit tier, I'm afraid. Sorry. So, yes, I think we'll call it a night for tonight. I know we haven't actually done any actual cards from the set. That's going to be depressing, isn't it? If we've got to look at things like Scion of Una in elite packs, Just imagine how bad the fucking commons are going to be. Jesus Christ. I'll make a list of other things to talk about, maybe. I've been watching a lot of videos about, like, you know, Spider-Man and just the state of the game, and how Wizards are blaming the failure of Spider-Man on the content creators, you know, and how Standard is just dying away as a format. I mean, I don't know how true any of these things are, to be honest. And I don't think most of the people who make the videos know how true they are anyway. Obviously, there are some people just going, oh, I know everything about Magic. And Magic is dying. But there have always been people who said that Magic is dying. But so it's hard to tell what's actually happening to Magic. But it's interesting to, you know, to try and see the way things are going in the wind. So maybe I'll talk about some of that as we're going along, whenever we get to a shit common that I have got nothing to say about. But I'm still, my early prediction, if you remember, was that Space-Time Anomaly was going to be the chase card of this set, and I'm standing by that at the moment. Because let's not forget, we've seen, this is a third of the elite packs. Yeah, there's usually 3 elite packs. So we've seen a third of them, and we haven't really liked anything here. God help me, I think Changeling Titan is my favourite card in this pack. That's weird, isn't it? That's not a shteev card. But anyway, yeah, so I suppose we'll save the actual meat and drink of the set review, starting at A and moving through to Z for part 2, which will probably be Monday or maybe Tuesday. And we'll see you all then. I don't like this set. I don't know. Let's open a booster and see what we get. Does everyone else's take this long to load when you open a booster? I mean, this is a... Do you know what? I've got about 8,000 boosters. Can you imagine how long it would take me to open all those fucking things? Let's see how many boosters I've got. I don't know. 7,866. That's how many boosters are. Can you imagine opening all those? Maybe I ought to start now. Ugh. Right, I'm off. What time is it? 22:46. That was pretty... Considering we got through almost nothing, that was a long one, wasn't it? I will see you all on, Monday or Tuesday. Have fun till then. And let's just hope there's one card in this set that isn't garbage, shall we?